Alright lads, what we're going to do today is a bit of a tune-up on Edric, Spymaster of Trest. My blue-green small creatures get through deck. So recently, Edric got upshifted from bracket, well, because of the Frostbringer. He was assigned bracket 4. I only had 3 game changers. Seaborn Muse got promoted. She's now a game changer, so he's got 4 game changers now and 1 mass land denial card. Frostbringer, Winter Orb, 2 colorless. Each player can only tap 1 land during each of their untap steps. The reason I have this in here is because Edric, the whole thing, is he runs small creatures. Like this guy, 2/1. Where's another small creature? Blacksmith, that doesn't count. Drives Fistigate, 2/1 non-basic land walk. Tetsuo Omizawa, Fugitive, 1 blue for 1/3 legendary human rogue. Creatures grow power 1 or less cannot be blocked. Power 1 or toughness 1 or less cannot be blocked. So she gets all land walks if Tetsuo is in play, essentially. Some of the game changers I have are the Cyclonic Rift. I've had this for years. This has pretty much always been in Edric, and Edric is one of my oldest decks. I'm also playing fun things like Homelands cards. Yes, Homelands. That incredibly powerful set from the early 90s. 1 blue for 1/1 fairy, flying, protection. So she's got evasion, and she's got protection from red. So if they're playing, if they got dragons, and that's what they're counting on for the Air Force, Sea Sprite is going to get through. Sea Sprite is going to get through. If Edric is in play, I'll get a card out of it. Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief. Gleeful, whatever the hell I'm trying to say. Blue-green for 2/1 Flying Fairy Rogue. Whenever player casts a spell that targets only single creature other than Ivy, I may copy it. So if somebody enchants one of their creatures with, I don't know, Rancor. What's something really interesting? What's it? Colossification, where it gets +20/+20 and taps. I can copy it, and the copy becomes a token. So she can get interesting real fast. Haven't had her in play yet though. River Boa, Collector Oof. So shut down artifact activation abilities. The only artifacts I have in here, other than the creatures, Soul Ring. So Hope of Girapur cannot be activated. I cannot sacrifice it if the Collector Oof is in play, but I usually don't sacrifice it anyway because I don't know when to sacrifice it. 1 colorless, so it's a color agnostic way of getting down a creature with evasion, 1/1 flyer. Sacrifice it until your next turn. Target player who has dealt combat damage by Hope of Girapur this turn cannot cast non-creature spells. A lot of the times I don't know who I should go after for that. So I usually just leave it around as a 1/1 flyer. There it is, Seaborn Muse, the newly promoted game changer. 3 green, 2/4 spirit, untap all permanents you control during untaps everybody else. That's what she says. Scoot Swarm! Haha! 200 green for a 1/1 bug. When a land comes into play into my control, I get a green bug. If I control 6 more lands, I instead create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm. Copy of Super Bug. So that's the deck. I play small creatures quickly with evasion, so I can smack people with Edric and draw cards, and then play more small creatures with more evasion. There's another of the 4 game changers. Gaia's Schoss. Gaia's Cradle. So what I want to do is, she's a 2/2, so she doesn't really count for Tetsuo Umezawa, but she has unblockability. She's unblockable just as she is, so she doesn't need to rely on him to get that through. It's hard to make changes to this deck because it's still... And there's the 4th game changer, crop rotation, that was recently upgraded as well. 1 green, sacrifice a land, go find Guy's Cradle. Yeah, that's pretty much what it says in this deck. So, what changes do I want to make? I think I want to take her out, which might bother some of you. Some of you might say, why the hell would you do that? Are you out of your fucking mind? Well, that is possible. I can't deny that as a potential. So I know I have 2 cards I want to take out. I have 3 cards I want to put in. But I only have 2 cards I know I want to take out. So let's start with the ones I know I want to take out. Let's do the 1-for-1 exchanges. So I want to take out Beastmaster Ascension, which has proven its value quite often in Edric, but things change. The play groups change. The way the things they play and how you should react to it change. So Beastmaster Ascension, 2 and a green, enchantment. Whenever creature control attacks, just attacks, you can put a quest counter in Beastmaster Ascension. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. So it makes my creatures big and beefy. It's really quick that I hit that trigger of 7 or more quest counters, and they'll get +5/+5. But at that point, they lose evasion, and they become scary. They become scary threats, which bother my opponents. If I'm just poking them for 1 a turn, usually they don't worry about it. Usually they're just like, we're getting poked. This kind of sucks, but we don't have to do anything about it. We have to do things about the other bullshit the other guys are doing. But if I have a bunch of 6/6s, 7/6s, a bunch of big creatures, then it becomes more interesting. Plus, since they lose evasion and I don't have ways of giving them trample, it just sits there and it becomes a target of removal. And what happened in one game is if I had Beastmaster Ascension, I still would have lost the game because I wouldn't have been able to trigger it by the time I could play it. What I think I need, is a way of, on demand, making my creatures bigger. I'll put Edric there. Yeah, you can kind of see him. Maybe I can... Okay. Lay down, you fucking drunk. So what I'm going to do is put in Kamal Fist of Krosa. So Kamal, he costs twice as much as Beast, exactly twice as much. Ascension is 2 and a green, Kamal is 4 and double green. What do I get? I get a 4/3 body, Druid Legend. For 1 green, I can turn a land into a 1/1 creature, but it's still a land. So Frostbringer still will lock it down if Frostbringer's in play. For 5, 2 triple green, my creatures get +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. And what I realized I wanted is an on-demand way of pumping them up. So, for example, with the Beastmaster Ascension trigger, if on the turn I'm talking about, if I'd cast it, the turn before, Cube would have still been able to pick off my creatures with his give a creature -2/-2 ability that he was running in Hazel. But if I had Kamal out, I had Guy's Cradle at the time, I could have made all my creatures +3/+3. Actually, I think I could have made them 6/6. I think I had enough mana where I could trigger this twice. So what I'm going to try is taking out Beastmaster Ascension, which, to be fair, it doesn't do anything else. All it does is if I meet the trigger, my creatures get bigger. Kamal, he can punch people in the head too. He's a 4/3. He's a beefy boy. Also, I can make my lands 1/1 creatures. So if I don't have Frostbringer out, if I have Tetsuko in play, then I can make my lands creatures and attack with them, and they can't be blocked. So there's that. So I can, by default, have more creatures. So he does more. He costs more. I have to spend mana for his ability, but I think it's going to be a good addition. I'll give it a try and let you guys know. Next thing I want to do is I want to take out that Adele Inquisitor. I decided, okay, so 1 blue, 2/2 Island Walker. Never shoot or deals combat damage to somebody. I get to go through the library for an artifact card and exile it. I don't think I really want to do that. I just don't want to go digging through people's libraries right now. That said, in the Sheldon Maneri, you did this to yourself decked in that building. I am going to be running Bribery, which means I get to go through somebody's library and pull a creature out of it and put it into play under my control. So I'm going to take her out in favor of Groundskeeper. And what Groundskeeper gives me, that she does not, is he comes down quicker. He only costs 1 green. She costs 2 blue and 1. And I want to put down creatures faster. That's something else I noticed, is I want to get down creatures quicker that have some interesting ability, and I can start poking people. So Groundskeeper, also 1 in green, I can return target basic land card from my graveyard to my hand. I'm running Sylvan Safekeeper in the deck. Sylvan Safekeeper says he's a 1/1. Is he a 1/1? I'm pretty sure he's a 1. Let's take a look. Let's look for the Sylvan Safekeeper. Sylvan Safekeeper, where are you? Sylvan Safekeeper, you little bastard. There he is. Yeah, 1/1. Sacrifice a land, target creature control, gain Shroud until end of turn. So what am I going to be sacrificing typically? My basic lands. So with Groundskeeper, I can sacrifice basic lands, and then I can get them back. Also, if I have to discard at the end of my turn, what am I going to be discarding? Basic lands. So this lets me get them back, so I can play them later, and plus it gives me a faster creature. The other creature I wanted to put in, I'm thinking about, is a Spectral Sailor. Blue for a 1/1 flashy flyer, spend 3 and a blue, draw a card. Cool. Now, she is a strict upgrade over Flying Men. Flying Men is 1 to blue for a 1/1 flyer. Script Sprites is 1 green for a 1/1 flyer, but it's beta. Kind of want to keep it. I like it. I like it a lot. I just showed the Flying Men just a moment ago. Let me see if I can find them again. Where are my Flying Men? Sephia clapped her hands, and 20 flying men appeared at her side, each well trained in the art of combat. I love it. Flying Men. It's just great. Where the hell is he? In this section, obviously. Yep. So 1 blue for a 1/1 flyer. She's 1 blue for a 1/1 flyer with an extra ability, 2 flash and the draw card. But I want to keep it in the deck because I like it so much. So what should I take out? I should take out something that costs more. But what? I just put Kamal in there. Sure, Beastbinder, 1 blue for a 1/3 vigilant rat rogue. He can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or greater. Whenever he attacks, just attacks, not even do damage, he's got an attack trigger. Up to 1 artifact, creature, or planeswalker opponent controls loses all abilities until my next turn. If it's a creature, it also resets the power and toughness to 2/2, the base power toughness to 2/2 until my next turn. So it locks something down just by attacking. So what do I want to take out for the Spectral Sailor? He does stuff. He's kind of a counterspell. He bounces stuff. Let's see. Do I want the Vendilion Clique? 1 blue for a 3/1 flashy flyer. Comes into play, look at target player's hand, choose a non-land card, put on the bottom to draw a card. Maybe that? What else could I take out? I don't want to take out the Tend to Shoot Dryad because every turn she gives me the creature to attack people with. I don't want to take out Joril because whenever I draw my second card, and if I have Edric, I will be drawing 2 cards a turn on my turn. I get a 2/2 kitty cat token to attack people with. So those work very well in the deck. She comes to play and destroys something that I don't like. She comes in play, brings something back that I like. This card is fucking fantastic in this deck. Attacks everybody. They're unblockable. Oh, and by the way, bang, they're all 10/10s. Next game. Cloud of Fairies, tap 2 lands, Earthcraft. So, if I'm playing a lot of creatures, I can tap my basic lands to get around, break the symmetry of the Frostbringer. That's why it's in here. On some kind, I don't know, should that be a game changer? Probably not, because most of the time it doesn't really matter. Counterspell on a flying beater. Flash comes into play, tap her and tap target permanent. That's a lot more useful more often than she would appear. Master of Waves, texture from red, and I get creatures. Kind of want creatures. Counterspell on a stick. So far, I'm not seeing anything obvious that I want to take out with the Spectral Sailor, which that doesn't really surprise me because the deck is pretty tight. 2 for a 1/1 unblockable, hexproof. Do I want to keep this in here? Kind of, because I have those creatures like Mystic Snake and Venser that I want to bounce them back so I can use them again. So I kind of want to keep the equilibrium. Nature's Will, whenever one or more creatures I control smack somebody, I tap all their lands and tap all mine. Kind of nice. Again, it breaks the symmetry of the Frostbringer. Oko, yeah, he's just too good. Oh, she has proven her value time and time again. 6 turns into it. How much is your life? 71. How? Yeah, everybody keeps casting creatures. God damn it. This gives me a lot of creatures in one go, one swing. 2/2 Forest Walk. So unless somebody has forest, which invariably somebody will. Invariably. I mean, that's just how it works in Commander. Somebody has a goddamn forest. But if I can reduce the CMC and get creatures on quicker, then I'm hitting people quicker. So maybe the Somberward Dryad, it's time to take her out. She's been in the deck a long time. Men of War, 2 and a blue, 2/2 fish, I think. I forget. I don't know what Quail is in German. Also, when it comes into play, you bounce a creature back to its owner's hand. Allurin, anybody, everybody, may play a creature card whenever the fuck they feel like it, as long as it costs 3 or less. For free. Well, if I'm drawing lots of cards, playing little creatures for free at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding me so they can attack, and I don't have to worry about, 3 cycles of people that can Wrath of God me, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I better keep that. Sun Quan, Lord of Wu. Yeah, he's big. He's, the top of the mana curve really is Biomass Mutation and or Cyclonic Rift. He's pretty up there, though. I mean, a lot of cheap creatures. I don't have too many expensive. 4 blue for a 4/4 Legendary Human Soldier. Creatures you control have horsemanship. For some reason, it got into my head that horsemanship means they can't be blocked except by creatures of horsemanship or flying. Because there's a creature, I forget which one, that says something like that. But no, they become blockable because who the hell plays with horsemanship, right? Almost nobody. Ether Eyes, I've been beaten enough with big creatures to know that I need some way of dealing with an incoming horde of Tyranids. And if I etherize them, that pretty much stops that attack. This guy is a newer edition. Foundations, obviously, is a newer edition. 1 in a blue for a 2/1 Flying Human Wizard. Never draw your second card each turn. You get a 1/1 blue fairy token with flying. So it's kind of like Juro, 1 Vili Recluse. She gives me kitty cats. He gives me fairies. Either way, I get more creatures to beat people with. Fraction Invoker comes to play. I say whatever the hell that is. That Planeswalker over there, fuck him. He shuts off. You can just look at him. Better keep that. Heroic Intervention, yep, better keep that. Disallow. Black's Manta. This is kind of tricky because the games these days, there are more mass board wipe effects. More people playing things like Blasphemous Act. I think it's Starstorm, where you deal damage to everybody. The Massacre. What is Meat Hook Massacre? Shit like that. So if I give my creature Shroud in a turn, it doesn't stop any of that. Not at all. That said, there is still enough targeted shit running around where this can become useful, and he is a backup for the what the hell is he? The Sylvan Safekeeper. Yeah, he is a backup for Sylvan Safekeeper. Okay, Dryad Sophisticate. 1 in the green for non-basic landmark, 2/1. Sombral Dryad is 1 in the green for 2/2 Forest Walker. What's more likely to be in play? Actually, is somebody will have non-basic land. Somebody will have non-basic land even more than forest. That's for damn sure these days. So I'm going to keep her in. Let's see if there's anybody else that's a possibility. I could take that out. Probably should take that out. But as long as I have Frostbringer, the deck will still be, technically, legally, a bracket 4. So it kind of doesn't matter if I take out any of the game changers. Unless I take out the Frostbringer, it's not going down to 3. And as dirty as this is, what I like to tell myself is, I'm playing small creatures, so I need a way of dealing with big creatures. The Rift does that, and it costs 7 mana. But I've got guys cradling here. It's little lies you tell yourself to make you feel good about the dirty shit you're doing, to make you feel good about fucking people over and making them cry. Yeah, definitely keeping her. 2/1 flyer. I just want to see how this works. I just want to see people targeting their stuff and Ivy getting benefits. It's good that this is May, Somebody does something nasty to their creatures, I don't want to copy it on Ivy. Counterspell on the stick. Island Walk. So I'm not losing Island Walk by losing Thadadel. I'm keeping him, but he regenerates. Collector Oof, yeah, I need to shut down. I don't, like I said, most of the artifacts in here, the only artifacts in the activation cost are Soul Ring and the Hope of Gearpore. So if I shut those off, I don't get hurt that much. But everybody else does. Seedborn Muse, untap with everybody else. Yeah, I want to keep that. Scoot Swarm, I could take that out. 2 and a green for a 1/1, but it does give me more creatures. Scared Ranger. 1 a green for a 1/1 flashy fairy with protection from blue. Bounce force back to my hand. Untap target creature, only once per turn. So that ability is pretty useful. The protection from blue is often relevant, so I better keep that Capsize. I like layers of protection. I like having multiple ways of defending myself and my board, my creatures. I like being a generous commander. So I kind of want to keep that so I can bounce shit that I can't deal with otherwise. Yes. See? Sophia clapped her hands and 20 flying men appeared at her side. Each will train the art of combat. Yeah, he's staying. That's for God. I'm sure I like that guy a lot. Cold-Eyed Selkie. 1 blue-green hybrid. 1/1 Merfolk Rogue Robber. With Island Walk, whenever she hits somebody, of course I draw cards equal to her power. And since I don't have any way. There's no equipment in here. There's no. That's not true. I've got a. I'm pretty sure I have. The fuck is that? Sounds like a dying moped. Jesus Christ. Blap, 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 blap. I'm sure it's fun to ride. You know what how a fat chick is like a moped? They're both fun to ride until your friends find out. So where the hell is that card I was looking for? It's a land. Tap it. Give a 1/1 creature +1/+2 until end of turn. I know I've got that in here. Pretty sure I've got that in here. Ah, there it is. Pendelhaven. So I can make the Cold-Eyed Selkie a 2/3 and get 2 cards out of her, +1 if Edric is in play. So keep the Cold-Eyed Selkie because she's easier to cast than Thadadel. Thadadel, of course, is double blue. Cold-Eyed Selkie, being blue-green hybrid, means it doesn't matter what lands I have as long as I've got a blue and a green in some combination, 2 blue, 2 green, and I can get it down in play. So what if I take out the Somberwall Dryad, even though she's been working for Edric for a long time, maybe it's time to retire her. I love the art. I think it's really cool looking. The way the roses around her shimmer, and that look on her face where she doesn't look like she knows if she wants to go out to dinner with you or beat you with a tree branch, or both. She'll beat you with a tree branch and then go out to dinner with you. Wouldn't that be fun? That's my kind of girl. Kind of. So anyway, let's put in the Spectral Sailor for the Somberwall Dryad, and we'll call it a day. We'll call Edric Finito Encore.